Hi everyone, and a welcome to our next homework review video for week 5, block 5. My name is Chris Pierce and I'm looking forward to going through this review video with you. We're going to be focusing on two specific books during this homework review. We're going to be looking at the Bond Spelling and Vocabulary book, but we'll also focus on the CGP CEM book as well, the 8 to 9 book that you've been working through. You're doing incredibly well with your homework, so well done. We're getting towards the end, certainly, of the Bond book now. I think it's the last 2 units that we'll go through during this particular lesson. I'm going to put Billy the Bookworm in the bottom corner so it's easy for you to focus and concentrate, and we're going to now go through and start looking at the task that you had to do. So, hopefully you've managed to do Unit 9 and 10 in this Bond book. We'd also recommend you have your word and meaning book out as well. This is always a good idea, just in case there's any words that you don't know that you want to put in. So if we start by looking at Unit 9, and you need to be on page 39, and the first thing you had to do was a crossword, remembering that all the words that you require are down the side, and then we've got a series of clues here. As you can see, I've filled it all in so you can check that you've spelt the words correctly and you've got all of them completed. But hopefully the clues were useful. So the first one, to across, a musical brass instrument. Well, of course that's a trumpet. So what you can do is you can just tick it off when you've done it and then cross out the clue. Then that might have helped you work out one down. So we've got another synonym for skin, which of course is flesh, so we can tick that off. Then I might have gone with 2 down because you've got to punch, we've got thump. Then we've got an arachnid, which obviously is a spider, for 5 across. Then if we go with 6 down, we've got a liquid food, which is number 6, which was drink. Then that would have allowed us to work out 8 across, which is shirt. So again, it's easier to work with the letters you've already got. You might have done it in a slightly different order, but that's absolutely fine. And what we mustn't forget to do is obviously tick off the words that you've also done on the side. And this helps as well. Some of you may prefer just to cross them through as you're doing it. And this just allows you to know which ones you've still got left. So I've also done drink as well. So you can do them as you're going down through. Let's look at another one. So if we look at 10 across, what's 10 across? The clue to slap or hit, and that's smack. So we've got 10 across, done that one. 8 down, because we've already got an A there, that might help us. And we've got scarf. So again, an item to keep your neck warm. So again, you can tick that one off. And then if we focus on 4 down, we've got using a pen or a pencil. Of course, that's writing. So only word beginning with W there. So again, we can cross out the clue. And let's have a look at 11 across. Got G to start this one off with. They keep our hands warm. Of course, that's gloves. And then we've already done 10 across. Now we've got 9 across, an item of clothing. So we've got skirt there. Cross out 9. 7 across, let's do our last one there of the across clues. A wasp or a bee attack. Well, of course, that's a sting. Again, cross that one out. So I've done all the acrosses now. Let's focus on the downs that we haven't done yet. We've got the bottom of our face, which of course is our chin. So that's coming down here. So again, let's cross that one out, tick it off. Nearly at the end. 7, our backbone, and a synonym for that, a backbone, would be spine. So again, find spine, we can tick that off. Then we've got 9, to push or barge, which is coming down here, which is of course shove. A long-necked bird, which is 12 down. So looking at 12 down here, we've got swan. And I think we've already done a shirt already, so we can cross that out and tick that off. So that was an item of clothing with buttons, is a shirt. Guys, well done if you managed to get all of those correct. There's 16 possible marks there, so again, you can give yourself a score out of 16 if you like as well. Right, let's move on to the next part of page 39. We've got to change the vowel in the following words to make new words. So we've got sting and stung. So by the vowel, of course, we're changing the I there. So very important, I'm sure you all know this, but I, E, O, U, and the A are your vowels. So that gives you a clue on the letter that we need to be changing. Flesh and flash. Shirt and short, so the I changing to an O. Two possible answers here. We could have we're changing drink to drank, the past tense, or drunk. So there's a couple of different options there. And then you've got shove and shave. I think I'm right in saying there might also be another possible answer for number 2. Let me just double check. Yes, you could have, if you wanted to, you could have flush. So we could change the E to a U. So if you did want to do that, then you can. Helpful hint here, always send out your words if they are tricky to spell. Words like these have double consonants to begin the words. A word such as writing is tricky because of the silent W, but other words can be sounded out and this can help you. So useful little tip there. Let's move on now to page 40. Now, this is a matching activity. So you have the words all down the side and then you have the definitions. So if you want to follow the lines across, that will help you match them up. But if I quickly just call them out just to make sure that you have got them all correct, and then you can mark them yourselves. So, cause, the reason something happens. Cheek, part of the face. Curtain, a fabric covering for a window. Dairy, food such as milk, cheese, cream and yogurt. And then we've got diary, a little book with dates in it. So those two words can often be muddled. So just look at the difference in the spelling. Dairy has the A before the I, and diary has the I before the A. Diet, the food and drink that we eat. Fairy, a little mystical creature with wings. Fiery, very hot. Flavour, the taste of something. Fruit, food such as apple, orange, pear or cherry. Goose, a large bird. Lion, an animal that roars and lives in groups called prides. You might have known that already, that lions are in groups called prides. Mainly, mostly. And then we've got piano, percussion musical instrument with a keyboard. Saint, a person who has lived an especially religious life. And then toast, of course, is grilled bread. So could be a good opportunity to pause the video here and just make sure that you've matched all of the correct words with the definitions. And again, if you've got them all correct, possible 16 marks there. So well done if you got all 16 of those. Moving on to the bottom part of page 40. Which of your words are synonyms? So we're looking at closest to meaning for these words. Reason, it's a cause. Hot, fiery. Mostly, mainly, taste and flavour. Which of these are opposites? Binge is when you sort of binge on food. Maybe you might be eating food that isn't particularly good for you, but you binge on it, you eat a lot of it. So diet would be the opposite. Cool and then fiery. And then we've got lion and lioness would be opposites, and effect and a cause. So there's 4 marks for that one and 4 marks for that one. So do record down how you've got on. Let's have a look at page 41. Now, we've got a new set of words down here, and all of your words are hidden in the word search. They go across and down, but not diagonally. Find your words, then find the leftover letters. What do the leftover letters spell out? So if we look at the leftover letters, we've got all of these words. All of these words end with AL. And as you can see, they all end with AL. So that's what you should have been left with. That's what's been highlighted in blue. Hopefully you managed to find all the other words that, of course, are highlighted in green on this particular page. So again, another good opportunity to pause it. And you can double check that you've spelt out with the blue highlighted letters. All of these words end with AL. I'm sure you have. Okay, next activity on page 41. You You have to place one of your words in each space so that sentence makes sense. There was a ladybird sitting on the flowers petal. So flowers is got the apostrophe there, so the petal belongs to the flower. Every February we have an annual meeting. Annual means once a year. Last summer we went boating on the Shropshire Canal. When I broke my leg, I had an emergency x-ray at the local hospital. We went to a music festival last summer. I learnt about global warming in Science Today. We saw a historical suit of armour made of metal at the museum. The guide explained that armour today still includes metal, but it is also made from other types of material. So the word material to go into that last space. There's a really useful, helpful hint at the bottom here. Remember that words with an L sound at the end can be spelt with LE, candle, angle, EL, gravel or angel, as well as AL. Sometimes writing down all these three options can help you recognise which ending makes the correct spelling. And that's certainly applicable to words particularly that end with LE, because if you were to write down candle and you didn't put LE and you put EL, doesn't look correct, but of course when you write it down with LE, it looks right, doesn't it? Okay, let's move on to your next task. So again, if you do want to pause the video, please do at any stage. On this particular one, again, we're choosing down from the side, and this is now on page 42. And what we need to do now is we need to put one of these words into the gaps. So if I just read them down, you can double check if you've got them correct. Dad had a new pair of trousers for his birthday. For the party, I brought the present and the card with me. I was curious to find out what was in the other boxes. My youngest child is only 2 years old. I ought to visit my aunt today as she is unwell. There are various after-school clubs that we can join. Greece, Poland and France, all countries in Europe. I never thought he would break his leg just before the running race. We waited in the hotel lounge until our taxi arrived. We are doing a first aid course at school next week. The little boy could now count up to 10. They are a friendly group that were on our coach. The two brothers fought over the television remote control. My friend has a famous cousin who sings in a well-known band. The cat tried to pounce on the mouse but missed and skidded into the wall. We should take an umbrella in case it rains. So again, 16 possible marks on this section. Brilliant if you manage to slot all of those in. I think all of those words are probably words that you know. Next little activity, you've got to write your words in the correct column, so each column of words has the same OU sound. 3 have been done as examples. So under this one, we need to have countries, famous, should, various and would. And then we've got under the OW sound here, we've got count, lounge and pounce. And then OR, we've got brought, course, curious and fought. So well done if you managed to put all of those in the right columns. Let's move on to the next page. That was page 42. Let's move on to page 43 now. And now we are in Unit 10. We are now in Unit 10. And this actually is the last unit of your book. So well done as you've managed to get here. What you can see down the side here is just I've actually started ticking off the words that I was adding in, so you hopefully can do the same. I'm pretty sure most of them get used in this one, so fill in the grid with all of your words. Yeah, all of the words are used in here. Now, some letters are given to you to give you a bit of a chance to fill them in, and I'm pretty sure we know pretty much all of these. Rodent. A rodent is like a rat or a mouse. So rodents. And I think all the others we should be fairly familiar with. So again, well done. If you've filled in all those accurately and you spelt them all accurately as well, you get 16 marks for that. Still on page 43, we need to remove one letter from each of the following words to make a new word. So amount becomes mount, burnt becomes burn, chant becomes chat or can't. You've got 2 options there. Meant becomes mean or meet, so it doesn't matter which one you've gone with. Which of your words are synonyms to these words? Intended, meant, happy and content. If you didn't know what content meant, put that in your word and meaning book. Let down, disappoint. Just be careful on your spellings on that one. Recite. Now, if you recite something, you sort of say it back. So you recite it. You chant. Scolded. If you didn't know what scolded meant, it means to be burnt, burned. So put that in your word and meaning book if you don't know it. Trial and experiment, quantity and amount, massive and giant. Then we've got some antonyms on section D to fill in. Shy and confident, amaze and disappoint, dissatisfied and content are opposites, and then near and distant. So again, you would have been taking all those words from that list that you've got there on the left-hand side. So that's the start of Unit 10, and that was page 43. Then we've got another crossword that we needed to do. So let's just go down through the clues quickly on this one. So they're all filled in. So let's start with the across. So to across, a vehicle, and the answer to that one is a wagon. Then we could use the G to come down with free down. Someone who looks after something is known as a guardian. So well done if you got that one right. And then because we've now got an A, let's do 6 across. Let's see if we could work that one out. To be definite, of course, is to be certain. And this is now all about using the letters to help you. And I think certainly if you've got some of them, you can use them already. So 1 down, we can do that one now, and 1 down's here, and that would be bacon. We had the C there to give you a bit of a clue. Cross that one out. Then let's use the N to come across here with 7 across. A liquid with magical properties, of course, is a potion. Take that one off. 4 down, a vegetable, and that's an onion. So again, let's cross out onion. Let's cross out the clue. Then we've got, let's have a look at any others. We've got a female adult, of course, is a woman. So we can cross that one out. Let's come down to these ones. Some of the numbers, unfortunately, are a bit covered up, but we can do 10 across. Quick, of course, that's sudden. Then I can do 11 down, not rural, and that would be urban. Then we can do robin, which will be a garden bird. So again, cross out robin. More than one female adult. So we've got women. So again, got to cross out women. Not many left now. Interrupted from sleep. So that should have been 5 across. Sorry, no, 5 down. That one is. That's woken. And then we've got, let's have a look at the next one. We've got 12 down. This is a cereal. And that is grain. So grain, we can take that one off. Then we've got a hen for 14 across. It's referred to as a chicken. And we've got 2 left. A fish, which is salmon. And to make broader is to widen. So if you widen something, you make it broader. So guys, well done on those. I hope you managed to get those correct. And of course you can mark them and check them off. Well done. Right, so out of 16, you can put your marks. Let's move on to the next task. Now, in actual fact, with this one, we've left this one blank, and we thought this might be a good one to certainly post in our Facebook page. So if you get an opportunity to go onto your Facebook page for Year 4, you can have a go at that. Put a little picture up, and I'm sure you'll get lots of likes. What do you have to do? Well, all of these words end in N, which is the second most used consonant in the whole alphabet. The letter N can come after every vowel plus some consonants when it comes at the end of a word. It also often has a silent letter in front of it. Why not give yourself 1 minute to think of as many words as you can that have N as a starting letter, as an ending letter, and as a middle letter in a word. So what we would suggest, guys, is write them down, take a picture of it, and then put it in our Facebook page for Year 4, our Teach It Right Year 4 page, and we'd love to see how you're getting on with that. So if you are able to come up with some words with the N as a starting letter, as an ending letter, and as a middle letter, that would be absolutely amazing. Okay, let's move on to page 45. This was one of those puzzles again where you have to work out the letters. One thing to let you know about, which sort of gets it going, the first thing you should be doing is looking at the letter that you were given. So you were given a G and it was 21. So you'd find 21 and here it is. And now there is only one word, which is grace. So once you'd worked out grace, that means that you knew that the G was 21, of course, already. But then the R makes that 11, so you can fill in all the other R's. That also meant that the A was 20. The 6 is a C. And then the 13, one very popular letter in a lot of the words, is the E. So use that to help you. Fill in all of those that you know, and then you can build the words around it. It's worth pausing the video now just to make sure you've got all those letters in the right place. Let's move on to the next bit. So we need to write the plurals of these words. So you've got 8 possible marks here, but it is about spelling them correctly as well. Rifle and rifles, rose and roses, slice and slices. So with those particular ones, nothing really changes, just adding an S onto the end. Surfaces, same again, just add an S. But with knives, we remove the F and then we add VES, knives. So hopefully you spelt that one correctly. And then we've got vines, sails, and then states. And again, those are just adding the S onto the end. Hopefully you managed to get those pluralized okay. All of these words end in an E, which is the most common vowel ending in English. This often does the job of a magic E, which makes the previous vowel sound like its alphabet sound. Moving on to page 46. This is just another matching activity, so hopefully you're able to match all of those up. If you follow the line, it should hopefully draw you to the right definition. I'll just read them down quickly, but you can be checking them as I'm doing it. Calendar, an organiser of months and dates. Cellar, an underground storage room. Consider, to think about. For, farmer, someone who looks after cows, pigs and sheep. Finger, a digit on our hands. Guitar, a stringed musical instrument. Manager is someone in charge. Quartet is a group of 4. Remember, to not forget. Similar, alike. Sugar, a sweet additive. A sweater, a jumper. Teacher, someone who gives an education to pupils. Teenager, someone between 13 and 19 years old. And unclear, confused. And finally, vicar, someone who leads a church congregation. So I'm hoping most of those words were familiar to you. A congregation is a group of people, just in case you didn't know what that meant. So a group of people, so this could be a good word to put in your word and meaning book. So a congregation often in a church. Okay. So hopefully you were able to get all of those married up. If you didn't quite hear the definitions or you missed it, just follow that line. So like quartet, a group of 4. Right, let's move on to the next task. Next one, still part unit 10. This is on page 46. Which of your words have these smaller words hidden in them? So all the small words are down the side, and then in blue I've written where those words what words they would have been hidden in. So ear, an ear there. Nag is in teenager. T is in teach. End is in calendar. Fin is in finger. Her is in teacher. Tar is in guitar. Eat is in sweater. Then we've got 2 possibilities here. You've got age in teenager or age in manager. So it doesn't really matter which one you choose there. Art is in quartet. 8. So we've got sweater repeated there. Then we've got car for vicar. Then we've got ale is hidden in calendar. Sell in cellar. Con in consider. And then arm in farmer. So well done if you managed to get those correct. Now we're going to move on to a different book now, and we're going to have a look at test 26, and this is in your CGP 8 to 9 CEM verbal reasoning book. First task was a closed passage, and this was actually on page 98, and it was test 26. So what I've done is I've filled in all of the different words, and hopefully you were able to complete those. Table tennis, or ping pong, is a game that was invented by the Victorians. It used to be played with heavy golf balls and wooden bats, but nowadays a lighter plastic ball is used and the bats are covered with rubber. The first World Table Tennis Championships took place in London in 1926, and the game became an Olympic sport in 1988. The country where table tennis has been most popular is China, where it is taken very seriously. It was declared the national sport in the 1950s, and the majority of schools have teams that train regularly. Professional players train for at least 7 hours a day, and the Chinese team have invented many new techniques. All this hard work seems to have paid off. At the 2016 Rio Olympics, China won every gold medal in table tennis. So you can put a mark out of 12. Hopefully your spellings are accurate as well. Having a look now on page 99, the next thing you had to do was find a word that is related to the group on the left. And I know we've practiced these quite a bit within our lessons. So the first one is icy. And the reason for icy going with the others is because all the words mean cold. Number 14 is juice. All words are types of cold drink. 15 is plum. All words are types of fruit with stones. So peach, cherry, nectarine and apricot. Then we've got bliss, joy, delight and elation and happiness. All those words mean happiness. Astonish, amaze, astound and stun all mean to be surprised. So again, what you can do is do a little score out of 5. It'll be easier when you add them up at the end. Let's have a look down through the next ones. 4 of the words in each list are linked. Underline the word that is not related to the other 4. So we're really looking at the odd one out. 18 is pear. The other 4 are types of berry. Then we've got flavour, because all the others are a smell, a stench, a stink, a scent and an aroma. 20 is distance, because all the others are measurements of distance. 21 is explode. The other 4 are types of sound. And then 22, we've got ball, because racket, bat, paddle and club are all used for things to hit balls with. Well done if you managed to get those all correct. So again, you can put a little mark out of 5. Then the next one, and this will bring us to the end of this test on page 100. We've got 23 is, and these are synonyms, swell and expand, portion and helping, so that means an amount of food. Then we've got determined and stubborn, and sketch and draft, so to mean a rough plan. So if you write your score out of 26, and it's a good idea then to go to your progress grid at the back of your book, and you can record down your results for this particular test. So your progress grid is a good place to go. You can record down your marks. So that was for test 26. Moving on to test 27, you had a closed passage to start with, and you had to choose the word that best fits in the passage. So let's just read it down through. Many animal species are currently live throughout Europe, such as beavers, wild boar and wolves, disappeared from Britain a long time ago. Sadly, many of these species were hunted to extinction. In ancient times, most of Britain would have been covered in woodland, but nowadays only around 13% of Britain is forest. Rewilding Britain is a charity dedicated to bringing British forests back, as well as reintroducing many of the species that had died out. According to Rewilding Britain, there are several benefits to growing forests. One of the most important is that trees provide us with clean air to breathe. However, farmers don't always agree with those people who support rewilding. They are worried that predators such as wolves would eat their animals. So hopefully you've managed to go through and check all of those. So again, make sure you've got the word that fits in the gap. There'll only be one that will make that sentence make sense. As we always recommend, reading beyond the gap can give you a clue, and even using elimination here, because it will only be one word that will make sense in that particular passage or sentence. On page 102, we've got to do the opposite in meaning here, and these are insert the letters. So we've got clueless is wise. So clueless is having knowledge, whereas wise means, clueless is having no knowledge, wise is being clever and having knowledge. Simple and elaborate. Elaborate meaning complex, simple meaning not complex. Firm and flexible. So firm meaning rigid, flexible meaning bendable. And then we've got gorgeous as in beautiful, whereas hideous means ugly. So again, marks for 4 there. Then we've got another one of those find the word that best fits in the group. This is really good for your vocabulary, these ones. So 17, craving, because that means to desire or long, you crave something. 18, peaceful, goes with serene, tranquil, cool and calm. If any of these words you don't know, so if you didn't know what tranquil and serene mean, then put them in your word and meaning book. Pain goes with woe, torment, suffering and agony. Ladle, grater, spatula and peeler. I haven't actually put the answer for that one, so we need to add that in, and that will be whisk, because they're types of kitchen utensil. 21 is planet, because those are all things that are naturally found in outer space. So things like star, meteor, asteroid and comet. So again, you can put your mark out of 5 there. And then the last questions in this particular test, on test 27, are odd ones out. So we've got chameleon. And the reason it's chameleon is because all the others, of course, are types of snake: cobra, python, viper and rattlesnake. 23 is slurp. The others mean to bite: chew, nibble, gnaw and munch. Again, if there are any words you don't know, if you didn't know what gnaw meant, do put that in your word and meaning book. Staff room, classroom, hall and playground. They are all parts of a school. So homework is the odd one out. Vicar, priest, monk and nun. They're all types of religious officials. So believer is the odd one out. 26 is glass. Rock, stone, boulder and pebble are all types or sizes of rocks. Excellent. If you've managed to get all of those odd ones out, you can record down your mark out 26. And then the last thing that you may have done for your You Must, or hope you have done, is puzzle 8. And what do we have to do on this? Well, 2 words had to swap places, and then with those 2 words we had to take the first letter, and then it would have answered your little riddle here. I have many keys, but I can't open a single door. What am I? I'm a piano. So well done if you got that one. Hopefully you're able to swap the words over so that the sentence made sense. So I have a cunning plan to steal the pies, and then the beetle scuttled across the old map, and then the owl screeched noisily from inside the tree. And then we've just taken the first letter. I put them in a little circle down here, and then hopefully you could have worked out that was a piano. And lastly, a word worm. And the word worm, if you rearrange all of those letters, spell the word dangerous. And then you can try and make as many words as you can, only using each letter once and making sure that your words are 3 letters or more. They're a bit like our word wheels that we do in our quizzes. So we've got rag, rage, gear, garden, dares, road, roads and drones. I bet you've got lots more than I found, but I've just given you a couple that you might have tried to find. Do set yourself the challenge of maybe finding, I don't know, let's see whether you could find 15 words. That would be brilliant. Guys, thank you very much for watching my review video. My voice is just about held up. Hope you find it useful to go through, and we look forward to seeing you in your next live session. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.